We don't swear a lot on this podcast, in this channel. Jenna does sometimes, but that was an ass kicking.
No doubt about it.
Oh, I'm like, damn, we really just scored right here, like, and then it's Jamarcus. It was kind of crazy.
Sean McDermott, Bobby Babich, or Bobby Babich, Sean McDermott. Give the credit wherever it is. Master class in this one.
This is the Buffalo Plus Podcast, brought to you by Connors and Ferris.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Buffalo Plus Podcast, presented by Connors and Ferris. It's Mike Catalana, along with Dan Fates. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the Buffalo Plus YouTube channel after the Bills just dominated the Dolphins.
We don't swear a lot on this podcast, in this channel. Jenna does sometimes, but that was an ass kicking.
No doubt about it.
That
I'm
was
going
an
to
ass
say
kicking.
this. We'll mention everybody, but we are starting with the defense in this one. And while the players made the plays, we're going to talk about all of that. Sean McDermott, Bobby Babich, or Bobby Babich, Sean McDermott. Give the credit wherever it is. Master class in this one.
And they did it without Taron Johnson, Matt Milano, and Terrell Bernard after the first quarter. Unbelievable performance. It's funny, Mike, a lot of times in my mentions during games, I get DMs that I check on my phone. Sean doesn't know how to coach. This team isn't prepared. This was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Can I say the one negative thing and then we'll just get it out of the way?
Right.
They're having trouble stopping the run. If the Dolphins wanted to do a wildcat offense today and just snap the ball to Achane, it would have been a better offense.
Yeah, they struggled a lot. They did make
That's
a few
it.
plays underneath, and we are going to talk about Tua and what happened to him, but we're going to talk about the game first.
Yes, that was it. I just wanted to get my one negative thing. I could only find one negative, and it was the running defense.
Yeah, the running defense. Let's start with the guys who made plays. I did move a little. Dan gave me a spot, said don't move. I moved. Sorry. By the way, they're cleaning the field here. Believe me, Dolphin fans know there was a mess out on that field, and it was their team. So keep sweeping up, fellas. Let's talk about the guys who stepped up. Bet Jamarcus Ingram.
Unbelievable. They always talk about next man up, and I thought Von Miller made a really good point. He says he hates that phrase because you're never going to replace the guy that you're stepping up for, whether it was Balin Spector or Jamarcus Ingram today. But this was a guy that 5 days ago wasn't sure if he was going to be active for week one. He was pretty much told, you don't think you're going to be active, you're not going to play. Makes the fourth down stop, breaks up the pass against Arizona to seal the game, and then has 2 interceptions, including a pick six. Just another story of a guy that is Sean McDermott, Buffalo Bills culture, the UB guy stepping up, making big plays.
Now, when you look at those plays, the second one was great pressure by Epinesa and Ed Oliver,
Yep.
and the ball goes in his hands. But I like what Sean McDermott said. When guys work hard and they prepare, the ball finds them.
Yep.
He's in the right spot.
For both of them.
Yes, in the right spot to make a play. Every guy in that locker room is so excited for him.
The celebration after the Ingram pick six took over a minute for Ingram to get to the sidelines. I tweeted out the video because every single Bills player had to come on. Deion Dawkins was in the end zone. Mac Hollins was in the end. Those were guys that weren't on the field for the play, were there to celebrate with Ingram. Josh Allen, the entire coaching staff, all waiting for him. This, we talked about before the year, that maybe the roster wasn't as talented. But I had said that they were choosing culture. They were getting back to what this team was. Jamarcus Ingram, this team right now is embodying culture.
Yes.
And the results are coming on the field.
So you mentioned all the guys that were there and celebrating. I want you guys to hear, I talked to Ed Oliver after the game. I want you to hear Ed's view of the play and what he thought was happening when Jamarcus was in the end zone.
And you know what's crazy? We were hitting Tua. Me and AJ was hitting Tua, and I guess the ball, he just launched it. So we hit the ground. By the time I get up and get my bearings or whatever, I turn around, look, Well, I hear the crowd. I'm thinking 10 going down the sideline. You know, he doing him. Man, this Jamarcus coming back the other way. He down at the 10-yard line finna score. I'm like, damn, we really just scored right here. Like, and then it's Jamarcus. It was kind of crazy, but man, I thought they had the ball. How loud the crowd had got. I thought they caught a pass and got a first down. Or he was still running, but it was Jamarcus coming back the other way. That was a good feeling right there.
And that was Bills fans, yeah.
That was Bills fans.
Yeah.
And it got real loud. I thought it was they fans.
Oh, Ed was so good because he was so happy for him, and he's thinking. And then I said to him, you know, those were Bills fans yelling. Now, we always talk about this, about takeovers in the stadium. And it's hard to get a stadium where it's half fans. That's not the case. Bills fans are loud. Bills fans are passionate. These fans are soft.
They were leaving. Dolphins fans were heading to the exits with about 12 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
I tell everybody there is more passionate Dolphin fans outside of Miami than there is here.
Yeah.
It's just a different vibe. But that's why the Bills players love coming down here to play. This is not an intimidating place for them. All right, let's talk about some other. Not only did Christian Benford have an interception, I thought he made plays, bringing guys down. You know, there was times guys were getting to the secondary.
Yeah.
He made tackles. I think Benford just continues to play tough. He made a play. I was watching him on one play. He lines up with Tyreek Hill. They flash Hill to the inside. He stays in his spot, and he's tackling Achane in open field. Think about the speed of those two guys. They could be part of an Olympic 400 relay team.
Yeah.
And he just plays tough. I love the way the kid plays.
Love Benford. I have been Christian Benford stan for a long time, going back to last training camp. But so credit to me. I'll also add, Rasul Douglas is a much better tackler than I thought. I thought he was just we talked about the Steph Curry. He takes chances. He makes plays on the ball. Back-to-back weeks, he has had tackles for losses that have spurred the defense in big moments. Whether it was he had a third down tackle last week against Arizona that held them to a field goal. He had a first down tackle that made it 2nd and 14. Plays like that, I feel like, set the tempo for the defense and a possession. I thought he was phenomenal again. I love this secondary. I absolutely love this secondary.
Yeah.
There were questions about Taylor Rapp. There were questions about Damar Hamlin. Damar Hamlin led the team in tackles today. These guys can play. Sean McDermott, Bobby Babich, I knew they were going to coach up the safeties in the secondary, and it has been phenomenal to watch.
So let's talk about a key play in the game. I mentioned the interception, which obviously was big because it kind of put the game away. But let's talk about the earlier time. When Miami had the ball, they were driving. They had a 3rd and short. They ran it to the fullback.
When Achane was getting 7 yards a pop.
Great. Mike McDaniel, I know he's this brilliant play caller. They owned him in this game. Absolutely owned him. But then on the 4th down play, Ed busts through. They get the sack. They stop him. Monumental play in the game.
Dorian Williams, the 3rd down tackle on Alec Ingold, the fullback, to make it 4th and 2. Then Ed just throws the guard to the side. And we were kind of waiting for Ed to show up.
Yeah.
Didn't really notice him week 1. Made a big play in a big spot. That felt like the turning point early in the 2nd quarter to really kind of put that game away.
4 times the Dolphins went for it on 4th down. I know one was late, but they went for it on 4th down. They stopped him every time. I mean, when you talk about a dominant performance, the Bills' offense didn't give up a sack, didn't have a turnover, and they turned them over 3 times and took the ball away 4 other times on downs. Josh talked about it, them having the ball in great field position the whole game. By the way, the Bills had 1 penalty the entire night.
Well-coached team. I wanted 2 points. One, we asked Jamarcus Ingram about that play. He said he didn't have words to describe it. And the second one, the pick 6, great pressure. He couldn't even believe the ball was there. Again, being in the right place at the right time, that's coaching and all of that. But then just to see this duck come flying right to his hands was just, again, really cool to see.
So Tua played poorly.
Yep.
He really limited fault on the 2 interceptions. I will say the second one was high. The ball was high.
But if you watch the broadcast, I thought Ryan Fitzpatrick did a great job. The 2 things Tua does really well are timing and instincts. Those are anticipation.
Right.
Those are his keys to throwing. Both of those balls were to wide receivers that they signed late in training camp. The first one, it hit the guy in the shoulder.
Yeah.
And then it popped over to Ingram.
Right.
So I'm not really going to fault Tua because he put the ball where it was. The guy's late getting his head around. And then the second one, it's the depth of the route that Fitzpatrick was talking about. He thinks he should be deeper. He's too shallow, and it goes right into Benford's hands.
So in those two, certainly fault to the wide receivers. But his decision-making on the one to Ingram, with all that pressure, it's third down.
Yep.
You just take your losses there. Even if you take a sack, you're punting the ball anyhow. It was a terrible decision.
The Bills are so in the Dolphins' head. This is now 12 wins in the last 13 games.
Yep.
The only one was they played on the surface of the sun here 2 years ago. They are, Fitzpatrick talked about in the broadcast, they're the big brother. The Dolphins are the little brother, and they looked shocked. They took the crowd out of it, the soft crowd that you were talking about. It was just, we go back to Daquan Jones said before the playoff game last year, football can be simple. They have a ton of speed. The Dolphins, but this comes down to a man whooping another man.
Yeah.
And this was, Mike, offensively too, and we can kind of transition the offense. Smash mouth, hard nose, bully ball.
Yeah.
By this offense.
Okay, so let's go to the offense, and I want to talk about the first touchdown. And I thought the pre-snap motion brought me back to Brian Daboll. And just the call was fantastic. And then there goes Cook running into the end zone. You're moving. Curtis Samuel, he spins around. That was not Buffalo Bills-like to run that. And then there he is wide open. Did McDermott go for it on fourth down?
Oh.
Isn't that something?
That's
and by
super
the way,
conservative.
I got you. I said I think he should have gone for it last week, but they won the game. If you're going to complain about Sean McDermott, this ain't the day to do it.
No.
And Joe Brady, and he said it afterward, great call, great execution. Perfect.
Shout out. I'm going to, when I get home, the first thing I'm going to do is rest my head on the Joe Brady pillowcase that we got given.
Yes,
like that was the best play design, the best timing to call that play since 2021. That was Brian Daboll-esque.
They called the timeout. Did they set up the Dolphins there?
So Josh said that they got into the formation late.
Okay.
So with all of the motions and that, Josh had to burn a timeout in the first quarter. He said, it's my fault. I didn't get us out of the huddle quick enough. All the motion, I called the timeout. He goes, but luckily, Joe called the same play. The Dolphins changed their defense into the zero cover, which was a blitz that they were hoping to see, which they didn't see before the timeout. So the Dolphins, again, outcoached themselves, got in their own head, and it played right into the Bills' hands.
It was
dominant performance by the Bills, as we have stated time and time again, and the Dolphins just shooting themselves in the foot.
All right. Before we get to the other pass I want to talk about with Josh Allen, let's talk about James Cook in general. 3 touchdowns in the game. And, on the long one, after the turnover, it was 21 chasing him to the end zone. Jordan Poyer had a tough night.
Yep.
He had that penalty on
Shakir.
the Shakir play.
Yep.
And he is a beloved guy in that Bills locker room.
Absolutely.
Okay, so
there were so many hugs pregame.
Yes.
It was unbelievable. Like he had a tough time warming up because of all of the hugs that he gave to Bills fans that were here, his former teammates, all of that.
Tough night. Tough night for him.
What did you say? You just kind of brushed him aside?
Yeah, and he's going to the end zone. And it was funny because I always think about the speed. And the Dolphins probably had the 8 fastest guys on the field.
Yep.
And I'm like, damn, James Cook showed great speed. And he did. It was Jordan Poyer chasing him.
This was also, you talked about it in the newscast, this was the Sean McDermott smash mouth football. I had joked around that Sean was like Herb Brooks.
Yeah.
Again. Joe Brady. Again. Josh was fine tonight. He was fine.
Yeah.
But it was an absolute bully ball performance by the offensive line in this game, and then it was just feed the beast.
So 2 weeks in a row now, Josh Allen has made a throw that I tweeted out. Never take for granted what you get to see on a weekly basis. Last week it was to James Cook. a similar play. He is sprinting to his right, and he throws a C to Ty Johnson, and it led to the touchdown. What a throw he made.
Absolutely unbelievable. Again, maybe him and Mahomes are the only ones that make that throw. Sets him up. Was that a third down throw, I believe?
Yeah.
To set him up at the 1 yard line.
I think if I had it, it might have been 3rd and 12. 3rd and 12.
And again, that's what was so fun. And I know some people were commenting in about the fact of, how I wasn't necessarily thrilled with the offense. This was such a balanced offensive attack. Josh didn't have to be Superman, but you still have the sprinkle.
Sprinkle of Superman. It's great for this team that he doesn't have to do it. By the way, you probably saw it on the broadcast. He did hurdle again tonight.
Just the bench.
I asked him about it, and he was like, yeah. I went over. He goes, hand's fine. He's always got to get a little. He's hilarious.
I do think he was definitely a little bit more cautious to run tonight because of the hand.
Oh, I know what the fumble was. I said to you, where was the fumble? He fumbled.
The snap.
But I don't think it had anything to do with the hand.
No.
I don't think it had anything to do with the hand. I was looking at his hand when he was at the podium, like two fingers taped.
His ring and his index finger, I thought, were taped.
He might have a broken bone in one of those, his left hand or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. And that's just me guessing to say it, but that's all he had. So that was the case. Bills wide receivers really weren't part of the offense in this one. They
Smash
didn't
mouth
need to
football.
be. It was. He threw a contested ball to Coleman that the defender made a nice play on. Everybody else caught the ball. He did throw one deep to your guy.
Bad job. Here, MVS didn't track that well.
Yeah.
I don't think that was a bad throw. I think MVS was mad at himself the way that he got turned around. He didn't track that as well as I think he wanted to.
Yeah. Shakir was the leading receiver again. Credit to Jenna. She's got an early lead. And by the way, I don't know if Curtis Samuel's going to do anything. He did run a really nice route. Josh underthrew him a little bit in the corner. That would have been a score. But honestly, they went to Kincaid twice early. Then Kincaid appeared to, I think, got kicked.
In the face,
Yeah, and then came back out, but they did get him a few catches early.
Yeah.
But quite honestly, this game was about the defense.
Yeah,
They were just so
Keon
good.
only had the one target, and it was the third down as Josh was rolling out of bounds before he hurdled.
Yeah.
But again, I like running the ball when you do it that effectively.
Yeah.
I tweeted the still image of James Cook. He's at the 30-yard line, and behind you can see Josh already has his hands up celebrating.
Yeah.
And then there's two offensive linemen. I think it was
McGovern?
Saibo and Spencer Brown.
Oh, it was. Okay.
And they're pancaking a Dolphins lineman.
Yeah.
I said, hang it in the Louvre. This was, again, I can't stress it enough. This was such a smash mouth, punch the Dolphins in the face on 5 days rest.
Yeah.
They were by far, and it was super hot, super humid, not pleasant at all. Even for a night game, it was still hot and humid and all of that. And they were the more physical, dominant team. That opened my eyes up.
All right. We're going to wrap this up with, I do want to talk about Tua.
Yeah.
He's highly respected in the league. He's a very well-liked guy. And he should have slid. There's no doubt. And in fact, I want you guys to hear what Deion Dawkins said. We talked to him after the game. I asked him, what'd you think when you saw that happen to Tua? Listen to Deion.
Telling you, it was the saddest thing. I promise you, it was the saddest thing. We're all just watching him run, and we're like, slide, bro, slide, bro, slide, bro, slide. And this game is so fast. It's a game of inches. If he would have just slid just a little inch before, it's such a sad thing. My prayers, my heart goes out to Tua, his family, his parents, and I hope that he's going to recover well, because this is a violent game, and that shows it. And I know everybody in this locker room will be praying for him. Even though we're enemies, but we're family. We're all football players, and we're in this brotherhood together, and we all tip our hats to Tua, and we all will get on the knee and pray for Tua and his family. But it's a sad deal.
Really tough to see that. He was down for a while. With everything he's been through, nobody knows what the future is.
Yep.
Strictly football-wise for the Dolphins, they're in a lot of trouble. And that's not really what they're thinking about at the moment. I heard Mike McDaniel said the right thing. He's thinking about the guy as a person.
He was in good spirits.
Yeah.
He has a concussion. We know his concussion history.
But we know what happened the last time, and he ended up on the field too soon, and then he had one again. I hope the guy gets right. I'm not, some people saying he shouldn't play. That's his decision, and to see how he does. But he took a big hit. It could have been avoided, but that's the risk you take in this league. I hope he's okay. I feel for him, and I hope he's all right.
To hear Dion say, we're watching him.
Yeah.
Slide.
They're saying
Slide.
Yeah.
Again, Josh said he's praying for him and his family, says it's the worst part of the game. Von Miller echoed the same sentiments.
Yeah.
It sucks. There's no getting around it. That's not how the Bills wanted to win.
No.
With Tua going out with another concussion and looking, again, happy he walked off on his own power, but scary nonetheless when you see a guy with that history take that hit.
Yeah. But the Bills had dominated the game to that point and dominated the rest of the way. They really had shown no signs of really doing anything, but it was a shame for him to go out. All right.
It's a pec injury for Terrell Bernard.
Oh, yeah. Now, you saw him on the sidelines.
Was not happy.
No.
He came out of the blue injury tent, walked around, and I thought, okay, maybe he's fine. He was kind of holding his left shoulder, upper arm. I was hoping it would be a shoulder or a bruise. It comes out, it's a pec. That's worst case scenario, in my opinion, because we saw what happened with Matt Milano when you're kind of holding that side.
Yeah.
We don't know. Sean says he knows the area of the injury. He does not know the severity of the injury. So we will keep you posted about that. But again, captain of the defense, so crucial, already without Taryn. Good news on Taryn is that they did not place him on IR. So that would have, if you would have done that, you could have been it retroactive. This could have been one of the games that they would have counted he missed of the 4. So I would imagine now they're going to have what, Mike, 12 days?
Yeah, till... Oh, we're going to do math.
Yeah,
but
not
it's
a math guy.
Well, they don't play till
Today.
a week from Monday. And by the way, Balen Spector, it was tough. He came in, they were deep in the territory, and they ended up getting a score. He might have misread the play. But I thought he did okay when he was in there. And you're going to get your wish because Buffalo Joe's going to be active now. If I think would be the case, they'd need another middle linebacker out there.
Didn't you say that Ed was like, that's not TB's voice? Like,
yeah, I asked him, I go, how quick does it turn over? And he goes, well, I'm in the huddle, and I'm hearing, I go, that's not TB. And then he's hearing a voice. I go, hey, he's got a little bit of a drawl. He goes, yeah, he's a Southern guy. He goes, so's TB. It's just a little bit different. But that's Ed being Ed. They have respect for guys who prepare. Balen Spector, right now, until we know any different, is going to be the starting middle linebacker.
I can't imagine how difficult it is to come into that middle linebacker spot in the middle of the game. But I always remember Deion Dawkins saying, injuries in the NFL are 2,000 or 200, 300, 400%.
Yeah.
The fact that this team didn't blink, because I thought TB going out against this team, already without Taryn, the speed, Mike McDaniel, all of these, the offensive guru, but they didn't really expose him. I understand what you're talking about on the touchdown. I didn't see that because I'm, again, looking through a lens.
But that was just a quick play, and he might have made it anyhow.
He had a couple other nice tackles. I thought the misdirections kind of got the Bills off balance, and I remember they did that in Week 18 here last year.
Yeah.
They kind of got the Bills moving, but they settled down again. These adjustments that Babich and McDermott have been able to make have been super impressive to me.
They never got deep on him. They never made a play. The Bills made the plays.
Since Tyreek Hill came to Miami, he doesn't have a catch longer than 23 yards against the Bills.
Yeah, he was almost a total non-factor in the game. Great job by the Bills. All right, that's going to do it for us for right now.
Dominant.
Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and as Jenna says, share.
Comment in with how you're feeling after this. Getting 2 wins in 5 days to start off the season when, look, I think a lot of national pundits are a little bit surprised. I'm a little bit surprised of how dominant it was. I picked them to win.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to be this type of ass-kicking.
Same thing.
That it was.
I picked them to win. I thought it would be closer. I think everybody did. I will say, be prepared for this. The Bills are going to be the darlings this weekend. Everybody's going to love you.
But that's great because they got all the time.
Yes.
By the time they take the field again, they will say that nobody believes in us and they can still take the underdog approach.
All right. That's going to do it for us from here in South Florida. For Dan Fates and, of course, for Jenna Cottrell, I'm Mike Catalana. Thanks for watching the Buffalo Plus channel on YouTube, and we'll see you next time.